Good evening. My name is Abby Steiner, and I am the president of the class of 2020. Please rise for the National Anthem, performed by seniors Samantha Yetter and Alexandria Simmons.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. It is with great honor that I welcome you to the 190th graduation ceremony of Springville-Griffith Institute Central School District. It is now my pleasure to introduce the class of 2020 valedictorian, Mary Snyder.
The past cannot be changed. The future is yet in your power. Through hard work and perseverance and a strong faith in God, you can live your dreams. Live by your own terms. Follow your own path. Be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. The future belongs to the few of us still willing to get our hands dirty. Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. Those were some of the senior quotes of the SGI class of 2020. Each one of us has a story to tell, and I feel very honored to tell you a piece of mine today. My parents have always stressed that there are 3 things in life you should always do: work hard, do well in school and your career, and be a good person. Nearly my whole life, my family has raised cattle. Every summer, we would let them out to the pastures or graves, and they would be free to traverse the fields, woods, and trails. Then each morning, after working in the gardens, we would do what we called herd health. We would go out to the fields and trails with our clipboard, find the herd of cows, and take attendance. We would have the name of every cow listed down and would not leave until they were all accounted for. We did this because we wanted to ensure the safety of all our cattle. My favorite part of herd health came when the cows had their calves. It's rewarding to see new life brought into the world, and I work hard to ensure the safety of the calves. I would not want anything to hurt them. That is why it's difficult when a cow decides to separate from the herd and have her calf way back in the woods. It can be more dangerous for a cow if they're separate from the herd because there's less protection. So we will search all day, drive every trail, check every hill and ravine, whether it be pouring rain or blazing hot, to find the mother and her calf on that day. We do this because the well-being of our cattle matters to us. We care for our cows and want to ensure that we are successfully raising them. We work hard and are dedicated. Everyone has a different definition for success, and I can't tell you what success will look like for you. However, there is a continuity between everyone's successes, and that's hard work and perseverance. So when you find something that matters to you, you work hard towards it. Our cattle matters to my family, as do our gardens and maple syrup business, so we work hard to be successful in these endeavors. We are dedicated despite any obstacles that come along. We persevere. There's so many opportunities to be successful in your life. Maybe you want to be successful in sports, or the military, or in welding, construction, engineering, teaching, or medicine, or maybe you don't know what you want to do in life yet, but there will always be something that matters to you, something to work for. And if you try your best and persist, if you are able to get through the obstacles and struggles, then you will find your success. We have all made it through high school. We have all worked hard and endured. We have not let obstacles like COVID-19 stop us from achieving this success. When you find what matters to you, when you define your own success, work hard for it and never give up. This whole idea is where the first two values I mentioned come into play. We have all worked hard and done well in school. We will need to continue to work hard and do well in school when we go to college. And for those going straight into the workforce, we will also need to continue to work hard and do well in our careers. Then there's the third value, be a good person. This value is so important in life because it greatly affects our relationships with others. Now, being a good person is such an ambiguous term, and I'm not able to give you a list of standard characteristics that define a good person. However, I'd like to share an approach in life that may lead you to this value, and that is to stop and listen to other perspectives. Have an open mind. Wherever we go in this life, we will meet so many new people, and each person has a different idea, perspective, and story. And it's so easy to get caught up in our own viewpoints, so much that we may have an initial opinion about someone that may hinder us from interacting openly with them. Look at what is going on in the country around us. But if we stop and listen to other perspectives, if we are tolerant of opposing viewpoints, then we can coexist with others. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily have to change your opinion. Conviction, viewpoint, and determination are important, but there is value in listening to other perspectives. And the quotes I began with, those of our fellow classmates, illustrate so well that everyone has a story. Lose no time. Be always employed in something useful. Cut off all unnecessary actions. That was my senior quote and part of my story. And I would encourage everyone to work hard, do well in your endeavors, and try to be a good person. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I would now like to invite SGI High School Principal, Mr. Bialzik, and Assistant Principal, Mr. DiMartino, to the stage for the presentation of scholarships and awards.
Good evening. Each year, we are lucky to have a number of local scholarships that we award to graduating seniors. The High School Faculty Advisory Committee, comprised of teachers, administrators, and student services personnel, determines the winners of some of these awards. Others are determined by the individual organizations donating the awards. We, as a staff, are so proud of each individual winning scholarship or an award today. Please find the detailed description of each award in your program. Rowan Potzler, you are the winner of the American Legion Auxiliary Scholarship. Congratulations. Matthew Egel and Nicholas Sullivan, you have won the American Legion Honor Scholarship. Great job. Toby Steff, you are the winner of the Brian K. Baker Memorial Scholarship. Well done. Jesse Seifert, you have been awarded the Alton J. Beezer Scholarship. Nice work. Nicholas Emick, you are the winner of the Brian H. Blasey Memorial Scholarship. Great work. Brett Russell, you have won the David and Helen Brogan Scholarship. Nice job. Jessica Engel, you have been awarded the Lawrence T. Butzer Memorial Scholarship. Congratulations. Abigail Steiner, you have won the Cattaraugus County Bank Academic Scholarship. Nice job. Abigail Steiner, Shannon O'Hara, Elizabeth Schneider, and Mary Snyder, you are the winners of the CH2 M. Hill B&W West Valley LLC Science Award. Well done.
Matthew Egel, you have won the Collins Center School Memorial Scholarship. Great work. Elliot Smith, you are receiving an award from the Conger Scholarship Fund. Congratulations. Rachel O'Neill, you have won the Delta Kappa Gamma Recruitment Award. Nice job. Aaron Hill and Jolie Weber. You are the winners of the Jennifer L. File Memorial Scholarship. Great work. Jesse Seifert. You will be awarded the Eleanor Ruth Gale Scholarship. Congratulations. Wyatt Fuller. You are the winner of the Gerlach Scholarship Grant. Great work. Sonia Kraisman. You have won the Alfred Goodymote Lions Club Memorial Scholarship. Nice job. Mary Snyder and Abigail Steiner. You are the winners of the Archibald Griffith Endowment Fund Scholarship. Great work. Jessica Engel and Sean Lux. You have won the GI Class of 1964 Award. Congratulations.
Luke Waterman. You have been awarded the Milford Grote Memorial Scholarship. Well done. Brittany Petri. You will be receiving the Dennis R. Heinz Memorial Scholarship. Good job. Ashley Blasey. You will be awarded the Kiwanis Club Scholarship. Congratulations. Jessica Engel. You have won the Kiwanis Club Memorial Scholarship. Nice job. Ashley Blasey and Evelyn Smith. You are the winners of the Charles Knapp Educational Memorial Scholarship. Great work. Kerrigan Hefferly. You will be receiving the Dale Allen Lampila Memorial Scholarship. Well done. Samantha Yetter. You are the winner of the Livingstone Masonic Lodge number 255 Scholarship. Congratulations. Sonia Kraisman and Hayden Taylor. You have been awarded the Millington Lockwood Scholarship. Nice work. Destiny Lightcap. You are the winner of the McDonald's of Springville Big Mac Scholarship. Congratulations.
Jared Hecht. You have won the R.A. Mercer and Company Accounting Scholarship. Well done. Mary Snyder. You'll be receiving the Edwin Ted Miller Math Award. Nice job. Gracie Atterbury. You are the winner of the Women of the Moose Nurses Medical Scholarship. Congratulations. Jesse Seifert. You have been awarded the Morton's Corners Fireman's Memorial Scholarship. Great job. Joshua Buckley. You will be receiving the Morton's Corners VFC Ladies Auxiliary Memorial Scholarship. Well done. Lilia Dintz. You are the winner of the Agnes J. Neary Scholarship. Congratulations. Jesse Seifert. You will receive the I.A. James Oatman Community Service Scholarship. Good job. Emily Ellers. You will be receiving the Lois Odell Memorial Scholarship. Well done. Henry Domst. You are the winner of the Harold Olmsted Memorial Scholarship. Congratulations.
Daniel Raudebush. You have earned the Michael Ottaviano Scholarship. Great job. Nathan Myers. You are the winner of the Peerless Winsmith Incorporated Scholarship. Congratulations. Gracie Atterbury, Ty Dash, Lilia Dentz, Nicholas Emick, Brett Russell, and Emily Schlemmer. You will be receiving the Pop Warner Athletic Scholarship. Nice work. Ty Dash and Brianna Krushka. You are the winners of the Lewis J. Reed and Jenny Reed Memorial Scholarships. Well done. Elizabeth Schneider and Nicholas Sullivan. You have won the Howard E. Jordan Sons of the American Legion Memorial Scholarship. Congratulations. Henry Domst and Hannah Milbrand, you are the winners of the Southern Erie County Counselors Association Award. Good job. Sydney Whitmer, you have been awarded the Rhea M. Spire Art Scholarship. Nice job. Aaron Snyder, you will be receiving the Springville Chamber of Commerce Scholarship. Congratulations. Morgan Cutlars, Isabella Oakley, and Evelyn Smith, you are the winners of the Springville Faculty Association Scholarships. Nice work. Caitlin Bishop and Catherine Deasy, you will be receiving the Springville Field and Stream Scholarship Awards. Congratulations. Samantha Yetter, you have won the SGI Retired Teachers Association Scholarship. Great work. Benjamin Mall, you are the winner of the Springville Journal Scholarship. Nicely done. Wyatt Fuller, you have won the Springville Study Club Scholarship. Well done. Sarah Wick and Sydney Robinson, you will be receiving the Springville Volunteer Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary Award. Nice work. Lilia Dintz and Wyatt Fuller, you are the winners of the Springville Youth Incorporated Scholarship Awards. Congratulations. Jesse Fisher, you will be awarded the Teachers Supporting Students Scholarship. Well done. Brett Russell, Nicholas Sullivan, Emily Ellers, Brianna Krushka, Catherine Deasy, Gracie Atterbury, and Shiloh Rogers, you have won the Felton Burns Veterans of Foreign Wars Post Number 5260 Scholarships. Great job. Katie Blanchard, you will receive the Mary Jane Gaffney, Virginia Scholarship. Congratulations. Jessica Engel, Isabella Oakley, and Aaron Schneider, you are the winners of the Charles and Elizabeth F. Whitmer Memorial Business Education Award. Well done. Joshua Buckley and Mary Snyder, you will be receiving an award from the Emily Whitten Fund. Great work. Abigail Steiner, you have earned the Kim Wilson Compassion Award. Excellent job. Samantha Yetter, you are the winner of the Lucille and Jack Yellen Award. Congratulations. We would like to once again recognize all of our award winners. Congratulations to you all. Thank you. Our guest speaker this morning is a proud alumnus of SGI and a member of the class of 2009. While at SGI, Mitchell captained 3 varsity sports teams and was heavily involved in the music department. He was also recognized as the class of 2009 valedictorian. Since graduating, Mitchell has earned a Bachelor of Science degree from the University at Buffalo in aerospace engineering and has spent the last 5 years in Southern California designing fuel and propulsion systems for remotely piloted aircraft. He is also a professional ultimate Frisbee player. Mitchell has traveled all over the country and world, but still continues to hold a deep appreciation for the upbringing he received and the connections he has forged here in our community. We are so excited and proud to welcome Mitchell Steiner as our distinguished alumni speaker.
Hello, and congratulations to the SGI class of 2020. I'm Mitchell Steiner of the SGI class of 2009, and for those who don't know, a cousin to 2 of your classmates. When Mrs. Noeson first reached out to me last fall about giving the alumni speech at this year's graduation ceremony, I was honored and excited. but I never could have guessed that between then and now, the world would be turned upside down once by a pandemic, and then again by an immense movement against police brutality towards Black Americans. Needless to say, I've had to rethink what I was going to say to you all more than once. At the end of the day, I decided to just share with you 3 simple lessons that life has taught me so far, in the hopes that they'll serve you well in the days to come. The first lesson is one that I'm sure you can all relate to, and that's that you can plan all you want, but you'd better be prepared for when things don't go according to plan. Sometimes it'll turn out rough, but often it'll be for the better. When I was at SGI, I made plans. I wanted to play college basketball, but that didn't work out. Fast forward to now, and I've been playing professional ultimate frisbee for 8 years. It may not pay the bills, I have still needed a day job, but something that once was just a game, a way for me to mess around before my real sports practice, has taken me across the country and around the world, connecting me with people and places I never would have imagined. Despite never being a part of my plans, the sport has given me most of my closest friends and become a major factor in defining my life. For the last 12 years, most if not all of you have made plans. Whether consciously or subconsciously, you expected to have a senior year and a graduation like all those that have come before you. And why wouldn't you? Nothing had ever disrupted that pattern for as long as anyone could remember. No one could have planned for schools to suddenly close as you entered the home stretch, stopping short the victory lap that should have been your last few weeks of high school. But guess what? This is far from the last time in your life that things aren't going to go the way you planned. It's going to happen again and again and again. So what can you do? You can prepare yourself so that you're ready when things inevitably go awry. Equip yourself with the skills, knowledge, friends and family, and support system you'll need to adapt to any new reality. Even more importantly, you can develop the attitude to expect plans to change. That way, when the next world-changing thing, be it a pandemic, a sentient AI computer, or something else I can't even imagine, when the next thing comes along, you won't be blindsided. You'll be ready to face the world's new challenges, even though they were never part of the plan. My second lesson is one that's really been driven home for me the last few weeks, and that's the immeasurable value of being able to admit when you're wrong and change your opinion. On the day that I sat in your seats and got my diploma, I was confident, as I'm sure many of you are, that I had things figured out. After all, I had learned everything my teachers assigned me to learn and passed all their tests. That must mean I was well prepared for the real world, right? Well, one of the first things I learned as I headed off to college and beyond was how much I didn't know. This was especially true when I first traveled internationally. I discovered that simply talking to people from faraway countries could teach me things I'd never learn in a classroom. New perspectives on history or different sets of values that I never would have been exposed to if I never left the little pocket of the world I grew up in. A particularly poignant case study for this lesson is unfolding all across the country right now, as protests against police brutality towards Black Americans continue, and our country seems divided beyond healing. I ask you to consider this. I'm sure at some point your history teachers taught you about primary and secondary sources, and how a primary source is always the most valuable to a historian who wants to know how things really were. I also know that no matter how many books or articles I read, no matter how many YouTube videos I watch or statistics I research, I, a white person, will never be a primary source on systemic racism in America. So I choose to listen to the perspectives of the primary sources, those Black people and other minorities, about their experiences, and I urge each of you to do the same. And when I say listen, truly listening means going into a conversation with the ability and willingness to take in new information, admit that you were wrong, and change your opinion. Those are really uncomfortable things to do, but they're the only way to make real change in the world, and the only way to grow into the fullest version of yourself that you can be. The third and final piece of advice I'd like to share with you today is to cherish the present moment. It's easy to go through the motions of each day and take the next one for granted, but tomorrow really is not guaranteed. If we were sitting in the high school auditorium today, I'd point out a couple of seats near the front where my classmate Andrew Krolikowski and I sat for every single chorus rehearsal for 4 years. Andrew was an incredibly intelligent, talented kid with the voice of an angel, somebody who might have been up here giving a great speech to a Springville graduating class someday. We lost Andrew almost 5 years ago. You can never know how long you have here together, and you can't get the time back once it's gone. If I could go back to those rehearsals with Andrew, I would savor every moment just a little bit longer. But I can't. All I can do is be sure to never take this moment, right now, for granted. I hope that each of you finds a moment every now and then when you can take a step back, soak it all in, and really cherish the present as it happens. Now, without further ado, I want to congratulate you, the newest class of Springville-Griffins. I know that this has been a crazy, tough, uncomfortable few months for you. I admire you for facing challenges in your senior year that your predecessors never had to. The adversity you've shared with your classmates makes the bonds between you stronger than ever. It has given you resilience that you may not even realize yet. Take that with you and go. Go out and see what you've never seen. Go meet people you never thought you would. Go leave your mark on this crazy world. I know you'll make us proud.
Thank you, Mitchell. I would now ask Evelyn Smith, Class Vice President, to come forward to present the class gift.
Mrs. Moritz, on behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to present a contribution towards a new sign entitled "Champions Are Made Here," to be placed in the SGI High School Weight and Fitness Room. The SGI community has always been proud of our school's athletic teams and individual athletes. In placing this sign in the fitness room, the class of 2020 hopes to remind students that hard work pays off and that Griffin pride unites us. At this time, I would like to invite our Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Kimberly Moritz, to the stage to receive the class gift.
Thank you very much. I'm hoping that you're watching this on a beautiful night for our graduation ceremony at the Delavan Drive-In. I want to thank the class of 2020 for your gift. And we've just concluded three days of our mini graduation ceremonies, and I have to say that it was really wonderful to see our students and to enjoy seeing the families as you watched our graduation ceremonies. I think that right now, everyone is feeling this sense of uncertainty. You're feeling a sense of uncertainty about what's going to happen next and also everything that's just come. But I would say that life is all about uncertainty. You know, when I graduated from high school and went on to college, never in my wildest dreams did I think I would end up living in Gowanda, New York. Only true love causes a girl to move to Gowanda, New York. And I certainly at that time also, there was uncertainty about what I was going to do in my career. I think I changed my major 7 times and then still had to go back to school afterwards when I decided I wanted to become a teacher. So how we respond to that uncertainty has really been shown throughout this crisis. And I would say the class of 2020 has definitely responded to this with grace under pressure and managed all of it to the best of your ability. And I'm grateful for all of you for that. And then I just want to end with saying, I think that this crisis has really reconfirmed what's most important in life. And that's our family and the time that we spend with the people that we love. So thank you for being here this evening at this graduation ceremony, and continue to enjoy each other as a family before your children go off to college or the military or to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Moritz. At this time, I would like to bring back our Assistant Principal, Mr. DiMartino, for the presentation of the class of 2020.
I would like to thank our Board of Education members, Ms. Allison Dewey, Mrs. Jennifer Sullivan, Mr. Christopher Cerrone, Mrs. Jenna Kellerman, Mr. Daniel Meese, Mrs. Jessica Schuster, and Mr. Tyler Sullivan for being present at our small group ceremonies. Also, a big thank you to Mrs. Kimberly Moritz, Superintendent of Schools, who was present for each of our 28 ceremonies. Mr. James Bialzik, High School Principal, joined me on stage for the awarding of the diplomas. Ethan Adamsick, son of Mrs. Becky Bailey and Mr. James Trembeth. Evie G. Adams, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Nicholas Adams. Matthew Agel, son of Mr. and Mrs. David and Christine Agel. Kyra Anderson, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Mark O'Hara. Gracie Atterbury, daughter of Mrs. Jessica Steele. Chloe Bechkowski, daughter of Michael Bechkowski and Kelly Bechkowski. Brandon John Barniak, son of Miss Kimberly Mills and Mr. Todd Barniak. Joshua Beers, son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael and Kim Beers. Hannah Bergner, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. David Bergner. Madison Best, daughter of Charles and Bethany Best. Caitlin Bishop, daughter of Christy and Brian Bishop. Katie Blanchard, daughter of Jessica Nauf and Craig Blanchard. Ashley Elizabeth Blasey, daughter of Nathan and Barbara Blasey. Maximilian Boatker, host family, Mr. and Mrs. Nathan Blasey. Darcy Bojanowski, daughter of Dan and Diane Bojanowski. Cora Bounty, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Wayne and Michelle Bounty. Cooper Bow, son of Mr. and Mrs. Stephen Bow. Ryan Brotlock, son of Jim and Amy Brotlock. Kristen Brown, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Sean Brown. Joshua Buckley, son of Mr. and Mrs. Donald and Melissa Buckley. Brian Buchek, son of Tony and Katie Buchek. Joseph Bugari, son of Mr. and Mrs. Steve and Christine Bugari. Hunter Carr, son of Lisa Carr. Finya Karstens, host family, Mr. and Mrs. Richard and Jennifer Kramer. Liam Cerrone, son of Joan Irwin Cerrone and Michael Cerrone III. Savannah Shervin, daughter of Miss Julie Corman. Jacob Szynski, son of Stephanie Szynski. Margaret Colomb, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Colomb. Julia D'Amico, daughter of Scott and Carrie D'Amico. Caleb Darnley, son of Lisa Murphy and Matt Darnley. Ty Dash, son of Kelly Emmerling and Anthony Dash. Zane Deermeyer, son of Sarah and Terry and Grandma Karen. Catherine Deasy, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher and Barb Deasy. Tyler DeSantis, son of Tina and Larry Lookenhouse. Lilia Dintz, daughter of Miss Amanda Dintz. Taylor Doman, daughter of Mr. Doman and Miss Susan Martinez. Henry Domst, son of Nathaniel and Jessica Domst. Emily P. Ellers, daughter of Miss Suzanne Ellers and Mr. James Ellers. Victoria Ehrig, daughter of Mr. and Dr. John and Deborah Ehrig. Troy Ellis, son of John Ellis and Brenda Kelly Ellis. Veda Emmerling, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Justin Emmerling. Elliot Emily, son of Mark Emily and Raylyn Emily. Nicholas Jonathan Emick, son of Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan and Tara Emick. Jessica Engel, daughter of Jason and Deborah Engel. Ace Fisher, son of Mr. and Mrs. Peter Fisher. Jesse Fisher, son of Robert and the late Sarah Fisher. Thomas Fight III, son of Mr. and Mrs. Thomas and Melissa Fight. Christian Fleer, son of Mr. Leonard Fleer. Joseph E. Flynn, son of Marion Martin and Joe Flynn. Inayam Fuentes, son of Mr. Elenai Fuentes and Miss Ruth Ponce. Sierra Fuller, daughter of Jessica Hebden and Sean Fuller. Wyatt Fuller, son of Mr. and Mrs. Michael and Lisa Fuller. Victoria Garcia, daughter of Michael and Tiffany Garcia. Kevin Gasper, son of Mr. Darrell Gasper. Kylie Gerlach, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Giuliano and Mr. Lee Gerlach. John Nojek, son of Mr. and Mrs. Nojek. Ethan Golubeck, son of Chad Golubeck and Kathleen Ward Golubeck. Blake Goodwill, son of Joni Goodwill. Joshua Goris, son of Christy Peed and Ray Goris. Gerald Gwine, son of Edward Gwine and Penny Elmore. Noah Green, son of Carissa and Keith Turner. Emmanuel Hartenstein, son of Mr. and Mrs. Pedro Hartenstein. Jared Hecht, son of Amy Lattimore. Kerrigan Hefferly, daughter of Jay Hefferly and Janelle Smith. Brandon Helmbrecht, son of Brian and Lauren Helmbrecht. Aaron J. Hill, daughter of John C. Hill, Jr. and Amy M. Hill. Ashton Hoke, son of Mr. Carl Hoke and Miss Lynette Hoke. Alyssa Hunter, daughter of Peter and Holly Hunter. Cami Husyanova, host family, Mr. and Mrs. Charles Best. Andrew Jennis, son of Brian and Elaine Jennis. Richard Ryan Jerome, son of Jeff and Aaron Jerome. Braden Kephart, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Aaron and Amber Kephart. Gabrielle Kester, daughter of Brian and Kendi Kester. Aaron M. Kaiser, son of Greg and April Kaiser. Daniel Kirkpatrick, son of Mr. and Mrs. Kirkpatrick. Cassandra Kolatz, daughter of proud parents Claudia and Kevin Kolatz. Morgan Cutlars, daughter of Andrew and Kimberly Cutlars. Cecilia Kraisman, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Paul and Debbie Kraisman. Sonia Kraisman, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Paul and Debbie Kraisman. Brianna Krushka, daughter of Molly Krushka and John Krushka. Quentin Light, son of Mr. and Mrs. James and Bernadette Light. Keegan Lemke, son of Janine Wolfer and Christopher Lemke. Yvette Lewandowski, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eric and Lisette Lewandowski. Destiny Lightcap, daughter of Robert Lightcap and Deanna Lightcap. Sean Lux, son of Mr. and Mrs. Peter Lux. Nicholas Aaron Mangano, son of Mark and Brandy Mangano. Travis Mansfield, son of Jim and Kim Mansfield. Trevor Maracle, son of Mr. Philip Maracle and Miss Jessica Deschamps. Gage Marvin, son of Mr. and Mrs. Kevin Marvin. Benjamin Mall, son of Mr. and Mrs. J. and Diana Mall. Colin H. McCarthy, son of Mrs. Ann and the late Mr. Leo McCarthy III. Leanna McKeever, daughter of Mary Thiel. Wesley Mead, son of Katie and Josh Mead. Sebastian Mayberg, host family, Mr. and Mrs. Tim and Christy Commenda. Mark Michael Meisner, son of Mark and Michelle Meisner. Davis Mesh, son of Patricia Mesh and the late Kyle Mesh. Hannah Milbrand, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Robert and Kelly Milbrand. Jordan Mitchell, son of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Mitchell. Damian Morrissey, son of Michael and Paula Morrissey. Nathan Myers, son of Mr. and Mrs. Scott and Kimberly Myers. Amber Nichols, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Hilfiger. Dustin Novoa, son of Mr. and Mrs. Dana Novoa. Shannon Renee O'Hara, daughter of Mark and Karen O'Hara. Rachel O'Neill, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Timothy O'Neill. Gregory Oakley, son of Mr. and Mrs. William and Jessica Oakley. Belle Oakley, daughter of Thomas Oakley and Shannon Nabozny. Autumn Parisian, daughter of Brandon and Lisa Parisian. Zachary S. Peterman, son of Renee Peterman and Dale Peterman. Carson Peterson, son of Kate Peterson and stepson of Wayne Goodridge. Brittany Petri, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Larry and Kim Petri. Nicholas Farner, son of Kelly and John Farner. Casey Lynn Puwarzik, daughter of Chet Puwarzik and Jessica Orntz, stepdaughter of Michael Orntz. Michaela Place, daughter of Mike Place. Rowan Potzler, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan Potzler. Peter Priester, Jr., son of Mr. and Mrs. Peter and Margaret Priester. Cortland Rayrauer, daughter of Carrie and Laura Rayrauer and Rayanne Lux. Sydney Robinson, parents Thomas Robinson and Heather Robinson. Shiloh Rogers, son of Luke Rogers and Nicole Richard. Morgan Rosenzweig, daughter of Rob and Tracy Rosenzweig. Otto Rotter, Mr. Sean Haley and Miss Julie Seiler. Daniel Rauterbush, son of Scott and Rebecca Rauterbush. Brett Russell, son of Mr. and Mrs. Chad and Jill Russell. Dominic Scagno, son of Ryan Scagno and Jen Bolt. Emily Schlemmer, daughter of Brandon and Tricia Schlemmer. Elizabeth Snyder, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William and Andrea Snyder. Erin Schneider, daughter of Michael and Lenore Schneider. Tyler Scholes, son of Rachel Miller. Jake Schreiber, son of Mr. and Mrs. Donald Schreiber. Amanda Schroeder, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Todd and Lorraine Schroeder. Jessie Seifert, daughter of Lori Seifert. Megan Seifried, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Mark Seifried. Alexandria Simmons, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. KT and Andrea Simmons. Aiden R.P. Smith, son of Dirk and Lisa Smith. Christopher Smith, son of Bea and Arlo Smith. Elliot Smith, son of Wayne Smith and Ryan Martin. Evelyn Smith, daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Darrell and Colleen Smith. Kellen Smith, son of Mr. Michael Smith and Mrs. Melissa Smith. Autumn Snyder, daughter of Erica Snyder. Mary Melissa Snyder, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. William and Courtney Snyder. Michael Snyder, brother of Miss Patricia Tallman. Toby Walter Steff, son of Carl and Ginny Steff. Abigail Steiner, daughter of Dustin and Susan Steiner. Brenda Steiner, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Timothy and Ashley Oakley. Megan Sterner, daughter of Gail Gorski Sterner and the late James Sterner. Nicholas Sullivan, son of Mike and Jenny Sullivan. Hayden Taylor, son of Doug and Cindy Taylor. Jessica Taylor, daughter of Dale and Tina Taylor. Austin Daniel Thompson, son of Jill and Dan Thompson. David Thompson, son of Mr. and Mrs. David and Wendy Thompson. Jacob Tonello, son of Matthew and Jeanette Tonello. Tyler Ucci, son of Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Ucci. Austin Walker, son of Maria and Robert Walker. Bailey Walker, niece of Jacqueline Wilk and Ian Willem. Luke E. Waterman, son of Mr. and Mrs. Brian and Diane Waterman. Jolie Grace Weber, daughter of Joe and Wendy Weber. Sarah Wick, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ron and Stephanie Wick. Sydney Whitmer, daughter of Brian and Karen Whitmer. Samantha Yetter, daughter of Robert and Terry Yetter. Caitlin Young, daughter of Mr. Edward Young and Mrs. Deborah Riley.
Audience, please hold your applause as I read this final proclamation. Students, please rise. By the authority granted to me as principal by the New York State Board of Regents and the Commissioner of Education, I hereby certify to the Springville-Griffith Institute Central School District Board of Education that these members of the class of 2020 here assembled, having met the graduation requirements prescribed by the State Education Department, are declared graduates of Springville-Griffith Institute High School. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the class of 2020. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Hello and good evening, parents, relatives, teachers, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2020. I am truly honored to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of a group of students who I've been proud to call my classmates, my teammates, and most notably, my friends. I'm going to be completely honest with everyone. I knew I was going to be writing this speech for a while now, but I spent weeks looking at a blank Google document. And not because I cried every time I tried to start it, but because trying to find the words to encompass the last 4 years, let alone the last 4 months, was more difficult than I thought. What I do know is that I am emotional for our kindergarten selves, because back then, 2020 on our shirts seemed so far away. I grew up looking towards the seniors, thinking they were superior because of the lanyards they had hanging out of their pockets and their ability to win all the tug-of-wars at the pep rallies. They seemed so grown up. These were the days we've all been waiting for from the beginning. Before we knew it, we became those seniors, and yes, we did win the tug-of-war at the pep rally. As I look back on our last 4 years at the high school, it is moments like the pep rallies, the sporting events, the assemblies, and the study halls that I will always remember. Speaking of which, I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, but my study halls were not always filled with studying. They were filled with catching up, making plans, and this year especially, learning the rules of hacky sack and Call of Duty from the guys in the cafe and learning that I am horrible at both. I know that our senior year was nothing that any of us would have envisioned or wished for. March 13th, our last day of school, it was just your average day, with the exception of it being Pi Day in math class. I think everyone in AP Calc can agree that we thought Miss P was crazy for giving us work for the rest of the year. I spent that evening with my eyes glued to the TV, watching what schools were preparing to close, praying ours could be some special exception. Not to mention the hope that would build up each time we got closer to the reopen date, only for it to be extended once again. I can't speak for everyone relating to how you felt through all of this. I can barely put into words how I felt through all of this. However, I know that the pandemic our world was going through influenced all of us in one way or another. One emotion that was prominent for me was anger. I was angry that I couldn't experience the best 4 months of high school, that I could no longer see all of the people who brought me joy, that I could not have a normal graduation, and angry that almost every store I walked into was bare. Everyone said, "You are living through history," but if you ask me, living through history is not as glorious as it sounds. I know for a fact, though, if there is any group of people who can get through a pandemic, it is us. You all are the most intelligent and strongest human beings I have ever met. You know how to problem solve, overcome challenges, and think in ways that continue to amaze me. Although senior year was far from normal, we will be the class that is talked about forever. And if you've had trouble finding some of those positives, here are just a few. Our faces are on banners hanging on Main Street. We get to watch our graduation ceremony at the drive-in. I mean, how cool? Who doesn't love the drive-in? We had no finals or regents exams, which is any senior's dream. AP exams were 45 minutes instead of the dreaded 3 hours. We were the only class allowed to decorate our caps. And just think of all the stories you get to over-exaggerate to your kids someday. Although I hope future classes get to experience the entirety of their senior year, I am thankful for every instant that comprised ours. On top of that, these past few months have given me lots of time to think, and believe it or not, taught me some lessons that I believe are worth sharing. One being about online classes. Personally, I will never, ever, ever sign up for another online class if I can control it. The second, even though a little cliche, being to cherish every moment because they end far too soon. And finally, the third, the most significant in my opinion, being the importance of your relationships with others. Not being able to see everyone at SGI who put a smile on my face discouraged me, as I'm sure it did for many of you as well. The people are what made Springville a place we will never forget. Springville may be small, and filled with cows and tractors, but it is home to some of the best souls we have ever met. It is the kind of place that gives you endless support and comes together in times of need. There is no better example of this than earlier this month when our amazing community showered so many of us with gifts to make our situation just a little bit better. We have created friendships that hope will last forever and learned so much about ourselves in the process. They are the people who helped you reach your goals and inspired you along the way. A lunch table conversation with Miss Tony was more like a therapy session. There wasn't a day Madam Brown didn't put a smile on my face, or a morning where Mr. Bialzik wasn't standing at the back circle door to greet us. And the cafe was bound to get you talking to people you haven't talked to in a while. Even though you are not all sitting in this auditorium in front of me, we did it. We graduated. No matter what your high school career looked like, or what the past 4 months looked like, each and every one of you should be extremely proud of yourselves. As you step into this next chapter of your life, whatever it may be, I hope you follow your heart. I hope you never let anything change the incredible people you are. And I hope you all know that you have the ability to accomplish and overcome whatever this life throws at you. So, here's to us. Here's to the days we never got to fully live out, and here's to the memories that will last a lifetime. I want to thank Mrs. Noeson for everything she has done this year and everything she has done these past few months to make sure we always felt special. I want to thank the rest of the Graduation Planning Committee for putting this video together and again making the best out of an unexpected situation. I want to thank all families that are here tonight, and especially mine, for supporting me and being there for me every step of the way. And lastly, I want to thank all of you, the class of 2020, for allowing me to be your class president for the past 4 years and for shaping me into the person I am today. I wish you all nothing but the best in your future endeavors and that you never forget everything you've learned here at Springville. My fellow classmates, will you please rise for the turning of the tassels? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the newest graduates of Springville-Griffith Institute High School, the class of 2020.